Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Pure AI podcast, where flesh and blood journalists do the legwork and AI swoops in for the last mile audio conversion. I'm John K. Waters, editor in chief of the Converse 360 group of 1105 Media. And joining me today, as always, is the editorial North Star, the oracle of overcommitment, caffeine fueled conscience of this operation, our awesome editorial director, Gladys Rama. Hi, Gladys.
Hey John, reporting in with caffeine in hand and just enough hope to be dangerous.
Ah, yes, the classic journalistic survival kit, over-caffeination, and existential dread. Throw in a press badge and you're ready for battle.
And maybe an AI generated meeting invite that put us on the calendar for 3 a.m. Pacific. Thanks, Skynet. So, what's on the Pure AI docket today?
We're talking about what everyone is talking about, OpenAI closing a record-breaking $40 billion funding round, which is just, it's mind-blowing, really. And then we'll discuss Amazon launching this new developer hub for their Nova AI models, which is not as headline grabbing, but it's a big move in the competitive AI space.
So, 40 billion? That's not just a little cash injection. That's basically creating a new tech giant overnight, right? I've never even heard of a private funding round that big before.
This is actually, it's the largest private capital funding round in tech history. It values OpenAI at around 300 billion. That's nearly double their valuation from just 6 months ago. The whole thing is being led by SoftBank Group from Japan. It's transformative. We're talking about valuations rivaling SpaceX and ByteDance.
Wait, so SoftBank is putting in all $40 billion themselves? That seems, I don't know, like a lot of eggs in one basket.
No, they're actually putting in $7.5 billion directly, plus another $2.5 billion from an investor syndicate. The remaining $30 billion is supposed to arrive by the end of the year. OpenAI actually mentioned in their blog post that they're excited about the partnership because, and I'm paraphrasing here, few companies understand how to scale transformative technology like SoftBank does.
So, what are they planning to do with all that money? That's enough to build an AI empire.
They've got big plans. A huge chunk of it, around $18 billion as I understand it, is earmarked for the massive Stargate initiative, which is a joint venture with Oracle and SoftBank to build enormous data centers focused on training next generation AI models. The rest is going towards scaling their compute infrastructure, advancing research, and growing their consumer products.
I keep hearing about OpenAI's weird company structure. Isn't there something about this funding requiring them to change how they're organized?
That's actually a really important part of this deal. See, OpenAI currently has this hybrid nonprofit for profit model where the nonprofit has controlling authority. But to unlock the full investment, they need to shift to a fully for profit public benefit corporation, or PBC. In fact, $20 billion of SoftBank's funding is contingent on OpenAI completing this restructuring by the end of 2025.
Oh, interesting. What happens if they don't restructure in time?
If the restructuring stalls, SoftBank's commitment could be reduced by as much as 50%. It really reflects investor concerns about OpenAI's unusual governance model. And this governance structure has been controversial. Elon Musk, who, remember, was a co founder of OpenAI before leaving in 2018, actually sued Sam Altman and the board, claiming they breached the company's founding agreement by prioritizing profit over public good.
Didn't Elon also try to buy OpenAI?
He did. He led this unsolicited $97.4 billion bid to acquire OpenAI's nonprofit arm earlier this year, but the board rejected it. It's high stakes corporate drama playing out in real time.
So, what does this all mean for the AI industry as a whole? Does this put OpenAI way ahead of everyone else now?
It definitely cements its leadership position in the evolving AI arms race. This $40 billion round dwarfs previous private tech raises. It's nearly 3 times larger than Ant Group's $14 billion round from 2018, which was the previous record. And it's 4 times bigger than OpenAI's own 10 billion round from last year.
How are their competitors responding to this? Google, Anthropic, and all those other companies?
Well, they're all racing to build AI agents, systems that can autonomously perform digital tasks for users. That's really the next frontier. OpenAI's move into this space, combined with their growing consumer and enterprise offerings, is a big reason investors are so enthusiastic. And the revenue projections are incredible. OpenAI reportedly expects to more than triple its revenue in 2025, reaching $12.7 billion. This is truly astronomical growth.
So, what about OpenAI's actual user numbers? I saw something about ChatGPT hitting some major milestone recently.
That's right. OpenAI just announced that ChatGPT has reached 500 million weekly active users. That's up from 400 million in February. So they've added something like 100 million users in just a couple months. And they now have about 20 million paid subscribers.
That growth seems insane. Do we know why so many people are suddenly using it?
Sam Altman actually commented on that. He called ChatGPT's launch one of the craziest viral moments I'd ever seen. The user demand has continued to climb. At least part of that growth is due to the new features the company is adding. For example, it made its GPT-4o powered image generator available to all users, though there are some usage limits for the free tiers.
I've seen those Studio Ghibli style animations all over social media. That's the Japanese studio behind those wonderful hand drawn animations for movies like Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away.
Yes, those went viral after users figured out how to convert photos into these Ghibli style animations. It's raised some fresh copyright concerns, though. But OpenAI says the images are watermarked with metadata and subject to their content policy enforcement. But the point is, these viral moments keep driving new users to the platform.
Okay, let's talk for a moment about the Stargate initiative.
Sure, Stargate is a massive data center joint venture among OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank. They're putting about $18 billion of the new funding toward it, and it's all focused on training next generation AI models. The scale of it is unprecedented, really.
Why do they need such huge data centers? Can't they just use existing ones?
Well, the thing is, these new frontier AI models require exponentially more computing power than previous generations. As they push toward artificial general intelligence, AGI, they need to scale up the infrastructure dramatically. The current data centers just aren't built for the kind of massive parallel processing these new models require.
How does this affect the competitive landscape? I mean, $40 billion is a lot, but Google and Microsoft have pretty deep pockets too.
This is intensifying the AI arms race. You've got Google DeepMind, Anthropic, and Elon Musk's XAI all racing to build these advanced AI systems. And each company has its own advantages. Google has incredible infrastructure, Microsoft has this deep partnership with OpenAI already, and Amazon is making big moves too with its own models.
Is there a clear leader at this point?
I think OpenAI definitely has the momentum right now, especially with this funding round. But the thing is, this sector is moving so incredibly fast that leadership positions can change quickly. What matters most is probably execution and how quickly these companies can turn research advances into products people actually want to use. And OpenAI seems to be they're really focused on that user growth and product development, which is probably why investors are so bullish on them. Speaking of the major players, Amazon made a move to attract developers with a new hub for their AI models.
Yes. Amazon just launched a new website, nova.amazon.com, which is a developer hub specifically for their in-house foundation model family, Amazon Nova. They announced it on Monday, and it's their way of expanding access to their latest generative AI models. It's aimed at developers and enthusiasts who want to build applications using their models.
What kind of models are included in this Nova family?
They've got three large language models, Nova Micro, Nova Lite, and Nova Pro, which can generate text from different modalities. They've also got two additional models called Nova Canvas and Nova Real that support image and video generation from text and image prompts. It's a fairly comprehensive suite. They're trying to position Nova as a cost efficient, high performance alternative to what OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic are offering.
When did Amazon first introduce these Nova models?
The company first announced Nova during its AWS reInvent conference back in December 2024. But initially, the models were only available through Amazon Bedrock, which is their managed AI infrastructure platform. This new launch is making them more accessible to a wider audience of developers.
Is there anything particularly unique about what Amazon's offering here?
Yeah, there actually is. Along with the Developer Hub, the company also introduced something called Amazon Nova Act. It's a new AI model specifically designed to perform tasks within a web browser. So developers can download the Nova Act SDK to create these software agents that can navigate websites, fill forms, and execute all kinds of user defined instructions, like, bypassing those annoying pop ups or refusing optional services.
That sounds like it would be especially useful for automation tasks.
Exactly. And the really interesting thing is, the Nova Act SDK is powered by a customized version of their Nova Foundation model. It's designed to support AI agents that can operate across digital interfaces. So developers can break down workflows into these granular commands like search or checkout and embed specific behavioral parameters.
So, this is Amazon's entry into the AI agent space that everyone's talking about?
That's right. Amazon's describing this SDK as a key milestone toward developing more reliable AI agents that can act autonomously on behalf of users in both digital and eventually physical environments. And the thing is, the company isn't keeping these models separate from their other products. The Nova models are being integrated into Amazon's broader generative AI strategy. So they're powering products like Alexa Plus, Amazon Q, and Rufus, as well as reinforcing its commitment to simplifying workflows for customers across e commerce, advertising, and enterprise applications.
Is this available to everyone now?
Well, right now it's only available to US based developers with Amazon accounts. But the Nova models are also available for production deployment via Amazon Bedrock if you need to use them at scale. It's a pretty significant move in the intensifying AI race among all these big tech firms.
Okay, so tell me more about Amazon Nova Act. How exactly does it work with web browsers?
So, Nova Act is an AI model that Amazon designed to actually do things for you in a web browser, not just talk about doing them. It can navigate around websites and execute specific instructions you give it. So, imagine you're trying to book a flight and there's this whole flow you have to go through, right? The Nova Act model could potentially just handle all that for you.
That could save so much time for repetitive online tasks.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is how developers can use it. They download the Nova Act SDK and it lets them create these software agents that can, fill out forms, click through pages, deal with those annoying cookie notifications or pop-up ads. It's all powered by a customized version of the Nova Foundation model that Amazon specifically trained to understand web interfaces.
What kinds of specific commands can these agents handle?
Developers can break things down into these granular commands. They might, for instance, create a command for search or checkout or find the best price. And they can also embed specific behavioral parameters. So you could, for example, tell it to always decline optional services or always look for the free shipping option. It's almost like programming an assistant that understands context.
How reliable are these AI agents currently? Can they handle complex websites?
That's a great question. So they're still evolving, right? Amazon described this SDK as a key milestone toward developing more reliable AI agents, which kind of tells you they're not fully there yet. But the goal is to eventually have agents that can act autonomously on behalf of users in both digital environments and down the road, physical environments too. Like imagine having an AI that could not only order your groceries online, but somehow coordinate their delivery or even interact with smart home devices.
Is this something only big companies will be able to implement, or can smaller developers use it too?
Amazon is really making this accessible to individual developers. Any US based developer with an Amazon account can access the platform starting now. Of course, if you want to use the models for production deployment at scale, you'd go through Amazon Bedrock, which is their enterprise service. But the barrier to entry for experimentation is pretty low.
What's the significance of this in the broader AI competitive landscape?
Oh, it's huge. It's really Amazon saying, "Hey, we're serious players in this space." Everyone's racing to build these AI agents right now. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, they're all working on similar technology. What Amazon's doing is leveraging its massive cloud infrastructure and its expertise in e-commerce to create AI that's especially good at navigating and interacting with digital interfaces. Given Amazon's reach across so many industries, it has a real advantage in being able to deploy these agents in practical commercial applications right away.
All right, folks, that's it for today's Pure AI podcast, brought to you by caffeine and a vague sense that the machines are grading our grammar behind our backs.
You can find detailed articles on today's topics at pureai.com, where we dive deeper into the technical aspects and industry implications. I also want to remind everyone to check out the newest feature on Pure AI, the Converge 360 Elevator Pitch Video Series, which spotlights trailblazing IT organizations that are helping enterprises navigate today's AI space. Elevator pitch videos feature snapshot interviews with executives who explain what their companies do, their target customers, how they use AI to solve common business problems, and how to get in touch with them.
And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to like, subscribe, and whisper nice things to your nearest smart speaker. It's always listening. We'll be back next time with more news, more nonsense, and possibly a guest who isn't an algorithm, though no promises.
Until then, stay human, while it's still an option.